I want to kick off today's event by starting to thank one family, Mass Housing and Shelter Alliance, and the Fireman Foundation for sponsoring this event. I also want to recognize a few special folks who've been able to join us this morning. City Manager Michael O'Brien, Representative Byron Rushing, from the United States Interagency Council, John O'Brien, and Deputy Director of the US ICHH, Jennifer Ho. I'd also like to recognize Associate Director for the Division of Housing Stabilization, Bob Polster. Commissioner Ronnie Madden, from the Deputy Commissioner Ronnie Madden from the Department of Corrections. And in just a moment, I'll introduce Lieutenant Governor Tim Murray. When the ICHH was first charged with implementing the Commission's plan to end homelessness, they laid out a roadmap that would take us from demonstration to systems redesign and finally to transformation and evaluation. As the demonstration period now draws to a close, we must identify the successes, invest in scaling up, and develop a plan to redesign our system to focus on those successes. Today, we can celebrate and continue the dialogue about getting closer to transformation. I want to take this opportunity for reflection to thank everyone in this room for their incredible partnership and dedication to effective and efficient service delivery throughout the regional network pilots. It has personally moved me to be involved in such a tremendous coordinated effort of hundreds or maybe even thousands of people on behalf of our neighbors facing the crisis of homelessness. I don't have time to thank everyone individually who has helped, but I'd like to take a moment to offer a few special thanks. First to the Paul and Phyllis Fireman Foundation for their contribution of $1.3 million to support 2 networks and It's because of their support that we were able to reach every community in Massachusetts and learn from the experiences so that our future efforts are targeted only to what works. Sue Beaton and Deb Fung have been shown amazing leadership throughout this entire process. I'd also like to thank one family, Denise Durham-Williams and Emily Cohen in particular, Mahasa, Joe Finn, and Tom Brigham for their technical support to the ICHH and each network, as well as for their critical participation in the evaluation efforts. Also, Madeline Taylor from Arbor Consulting Partners has masterfully guided us through the evaluation and has really helped everyone in this room achieve effective network practice skills. I'd also like to thank all of the network's convening agencies, the coordinators, and the leadership council members. Your leadership during this critical time has helped to build the foundation upon which we can support our shift toward housing. With all of the network members, you've shown strong commitment to this effort, even during some very uncertain times. You're on the front lines every day, and it really is making a difference. Lastly, I'd like to thank my colleagues at the state and in the legislature, everyone who has participated in network efforts or worked with the ICHH directly to ensure we're all sharing information and ideas effectively. I'd like to give a special thanks to Representative Byron Rushing for his unwavering leadership. Also to Robin Kennedy for her leadership from within the Lieutenant Governor's office. And of course to Bob Polster from DHCD for his hard work to launch the regional network efforts and for his daily support and partnership, and really to the entire DHS staff who are always willing to lend a hand. Many of you are note-taking today or facilitating conversations, and you've adopted the ICHH, and we're forever grateful. And finally, I'd like to thank Lila Bernstein, who has expertly helped us all understand what works and why. Through her in-depth data analysis, Lila has played a critical role, and I can't thank her enough for her all-hands-on-deck partnership. So I'm asking each of you to spend the day reflecting on the last 2 years, the process of creating your networks and providing services while considering how to keep moving us all forward. As I do my own reflection, I think about the time I spent working with the Homelessness Commission in 2007, vetting ideas on things like how to make prevention programs most efficient, and working as a planning partner to respond to the ICHH RFR for the Metro Boston Network in 2008, debating about what structure the Leadership Council should take. The week I started working at the ICHH, one family hosted the first peer learning session that was devoted to the topic of diversion. And I remember, lengthy discussions during that session about how to target resources and how to partner with homeless coordinators and the local TAOs. And then in June, one family hosted the final peer learning session of the pilot period. And at that point, there was a whole conversation about stabilization happening, and someone in the audience used diversion as an example of how to work across sectors to achieve success. And I thought, how far we've come. And so it's those successes that I think we need to build off of now as we move forward. So a little later this morning, I'll speak in more detail about the initial findings from the pilots, but we know we've seen an enormous progress in how we work together toward our mission, and the benefit that's had for the families and households we're trying to serve is very clear. So I'll close now by thanking you all again for your work these last couple of years and for being here today and committing to continue what we've started. I'd like now to welcome Lieutenant Governor Tim Murray, who has shown unwavering support for the individuals and families who are at risk of or experiencing homelessness, and support for the best practices that providers have proven to prevent and end homelessness.